Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. It's Teesha, and today's video is going to be a little different, but not if you've been around for a little while. So when I first started my channel, I was kind of going back and forth. Bath & Body Works, always loved, always will, but I also have a love of makeup. So I constantly do both hauling and decluttering of my collections. And so in like February is when I started my channel. I'd say like March maybe. Spring break for me, I usually do a little bit of cleaning. I decided to go through my makeup and I named the video The Final Tour. So basically it was a bunch of makeup that I've had for a while that I was going to use and it was never going to go back into my collection. So this is their final tour, music. I love all things pop culture, So as it is now the end of the year, I thought it would be good to show you my progress quickly on that. Let you know kind of how much I used up, and then pull a few more things into the project for next year. So this is the first video I'm filming since the Monday or so of last week. I usually film all in one day, unless it's like a haul that comes in the mail, then I'll film and get on camera and look crazy. But with working a full-time job, it's dark, dreary, rainy here on Saturday. It has been a week since the horrible storms and tornadoes in Kentucky. And what a week it's been. I don't want to get emotional. This is going to be a fun little quick video. But this has been a week where I think my boss said it. I've heard it before, but compassion fatigue. Like people want to help and there's so many people. And then you go down and you see what they went through and you see the devastation, the rubble, and it's like you're frozen. Like I'm emotionally spent. I went right down to so basically there were two tornadoes that came through Bowling Green, Kentucky that night, and we were cleaning up a neighborhood. Monday was great. We did Feeding America, and I'm gonna insert some pictures here just of my crew and everything. We were closed, schools are closed, so we were like, well, let's go do something. So we went and did that and distributed food, helped bag it up and take it out. That was good. You've seen a lot of families in need, but it's good to help. It's good to feel like you're helpful. And then, we were still trying to stay off the roads because they were still, as of Monday, doing search and rescue for those that they haven't found yet. So they weren't looking for volunteers at that time. So we put our names into the center. And then Tuesday they called us and we went Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday was really heartbreaking because we went to a couple neighborhoods that just had a little bit of damage, but they had to be out of their homes for a while they were repaired. So helping some of the elderly families, cleaning up and deciding what to keep and what to get rid of after all those years was really hard. And then Wednesday we went down to the actual ground zero is what they were calling it. The National Guard was there, and we went to clean up and cut down trees. And basically they said if you see a tarp over the roof, then they're going to keep the house, and there weren't a lot of tarps. And it was really hard because, and I'm really going into detail here, but it is really helpful that I get to talk with you guys in the comments about it, because I wasn't affected, but just seeing it firsthand. There was houses that just had a couple pieces of siding missing, kind of like mine, and a window broken. And then there was houses where there was just foundation left next door. And I was like, wow. Anyway, so yeah, so I just inserting a few pictures here. It was interesting. Some of the things that day, I'm a very sentimental person. So if I found little notes on the ground that was a grocery list or something, or I found a present and I stuck it up on this porch because it was a present that was unwrapped a little bit, but you could see it was wrapped for a little boy. Put it up on this porch. There were two houses, I think I have a picture, where the walls were ripped away, but their Christmas tree stood there, just perfectly untouched. And I thought, oh, I really hope that family gets to celebrate, because we didn't know. In fact, one home we did know was a family that lost their entire family. It looked like it's exactly the first spot where the storm had touched down. And just seeing that they didn't even have foundation anymore. They had nothing left of their residence. And so what was so neat was people were doing whatever they could. So companies were coming through with wagons of food, you're cleaning up trees and you're cleaning up. So we would separate the materials so FEMA can come through and clean up. And they're like, which can we feed you? And you're just sitting there going, I can't keep eating, but like you're stress eating. And there were people with wagons and people with the gators, and like this company stopped and they're like, yeah, the dad of this family was our driver. And I was like, wow, like, wow. So we all just stood there, and it's like what I thought of, which I hope isn't weird, but like, of course I was affected by Hurricane Katrina, but living in Northern Illinois, I wasn't affected. And I felt horrible for those people. But until you're like right there, and like, now I think back going, no, I didn't send enough thoughts and prayers. Because when you see what people lose in a matter of minutes, it's so hard. So it's been a really hard week. And so I feel really good today. There was nothing to do today because it's pouring rain, but a lot has been done this week. I'm so humbled by this community, how they came out. Like, if you had a food truck, you're out there serving food. If you had a delivery truck, if you had a van, you were shuttling families around so they could get to things that they needed to get to, because their life didn't stop because they lost their house to damages. If you needed an interpreter, they found an interpreter for you. It was just the community coming together, but like, just the loss also was really hard. But so just keep Kentucky and other places that were affected by that tornado in your thoughts and prayers. And if you see it in your heart to donate, I promise you it's all going to good places. Like, really, people have lost everything right before Christmas. Is really hard. So we donated a dresser, and I've donated some of Aiden's clothes, and like I said, my time. But it's really hard to go into celebration mode. Or I have a box here I want to share with you in the next video of some body care that I ordered before then, and it's hard because you're just seeing it firsthand, and that was like the first time I've ever seen anything like that. So anyways, thank you guys so much for all the thoughts and the prayers you sent for me, and I was perfectly fine, but they still have made me stronger to go out and help other people. So anyways, thank you so much. Okay, moving back into this video. So this was, again, not anything to do with the topic. If you listen to this point, put Papa Don't Peach in the comments so I know that I didn't lose you all. I picked several different items of makeup, and I'm just going to share them with you real quick, with you what I'm going to put into the next one. I like calling it the final tour because I say none of these things will go back into the collection to collect dust. I really got my use out of them, and then I'll share my thoughts on it. So I had picked 3 palettes. These are older palettes I've had in my collection for a while, and I set myself a goal. So this one is the Marvelous Mauves, and it's a dose of colors. I had this palette forever. I love this palette. As you will see, I can't even show you because most of these shades will fall out. So my goal was to hit major pan on these 2 shades. And as you can see, I did. I've been wearing this a lot. This is a palette that I'm wearing quite often when you all compliment me. You're like, oh, your eye looks so pretty. Well, these at the beginning of the year were just little tiny pinpoints. So I really did do some damage in a good way. And these are darker shades I never really liked on me. They're just too dark for my skin tone. And this one I always use just to highlight my brow bone. So you're not going to use the shade up very easily doing just that. But I will tell you, this was a monochromatic palette that I fell in love with. I love Dose of Colors as a brand, and I see myself reordering this palette, but this is on its way out. It has sang its last song in my collection. So a definite palette I would recommend, but I did end up hitting my pan goal for that one. And then the other one I just wanted to get more use out of was this Pretty Fun and Fearless palette. This was a collaboration with one of my favorite influencers at the time. I mean, I probably bought this palette in 2018 or 2019. I know, a long time ago. Ciate London. It's a hit or miss brand, but I do like it. And Chloe Morello was the influencer. And this palette was really fun for me at the time, but I just didn't see myself reaching for it. I used to make my everyday makeup looks out of these, but you can see there's just some dips in them. This was obviously a favorite shade, and I worked really hard on this row. But I just never hit pan on this because I just think it's too cool for me to be inspired to use it quite often. I really liked it, but I know that I got my use out of it. Honestly, like, you can't get this palette anymore, so it's hard for me to get rid of, but all year I've been working on it. You've seen it quite often, and it's time for its final bow. So I'm going to go ahead and call that one done as well. Now this one, I was really skeptical that I would do anything with, but I love this palette, and I thought all year, I'm going to use this as much as I can and then replace it. But as I've been using this palette, this is the Urban Decay Born to Run. You see it in my description box all the time. I've just fallen in love with it again, and I'm not getting rid of it. I said that this was a final tour, but it's just going to go into another final tour. So my goal was to use up this shade. This is my perfect lid shade called Weekender. And I've made so many looks that you guys have complimented with these two, some down here. I'm wearing that one today. It's pretty green, but the browns are just so fun in here, but then it's got almost like everything you need. I want to work more on this corner. So I haven't picked a couple shades, but I think for sure, I mean, that shade's pretty much all done, as you can see. So I did it. Now I'm going to work on Riff, and I'm going to work on Smog. Smog is one of their like OG shades. So those are those two right there. And I'm going to keep this palette, but it's not going back in the collection. It's going back into the project. But out of the 3 palettes I chose, this is the only one I'm keeping. But the other 2 are great. And so for the next part, I just wanted to share the things I used up and then the things I'm decluttering. So we're going to start with face products. No, we'll start with eye products. I used up 19 eyeshadows, or I'm decluttering, 1 eye primer, 6 mascaras, 6 eyeliners, and 1 eye stamp. So we'll start with a stamp. This was something I got in like a beauty box, and it was just too big. So like, here's the marker. So you're supposed to be able to, and it's just messy too, stamp your little like wing, which I've always wanted, on one side, and then you can finish drawing it on. But with this being so fat and it bleeds, it makes my eyes look crazy like Uncle Fester from the Addams Family. Not the look we're going for. These eyeliners, I've either used up, which I really would say mostly were these Colourpop ones. Use them right down to the end, or they've dried out. So these used to be my favorite, but they have actually changed their packaging. So these are older. My favorite was Cold Brew, or Brouhaha. This is like a really pretty brown. This one I used up. These 2 are from Urban Decay, and they're just too light, so they're time to go. These were all in a year-long project, use it up. So I used them, abused them, and now they are gone. I used up a Covergirl Lid Lock. This is for $2, like one of the best eyeshadow primers. It matched my skin tone. I just put this on, then I do my my concealer, and then this is tacky enough for me to like put down like that Weekender shade or something like my lid color. It helps your foundation, helps your eye looks stay a little bit longer, especially if you tend to be combo oily like me. Your eyelids can be a source of oil. So I really do recommend, and I use that up. And then let's keep eyes going here. I hated this. I bought this from Ulta, and it just doesn't come off as that really pretty color. So we're tossing that. And then these Colourpop Super Shock shadows dry out. I feel like I got my use out of them. I'll show you this one. This one's not too bad, but it's a good, see, like it used to be a little bit more true to color than that. Let's see if I can show you another one. But they are just, you can tell. Oh, that one just came right out. See? That's another sign that they're done for. But yeah, they used to be, I mean, I used to use them as a one and done eyeshadow look, but now they just don't really show up anymore. So we are going to declutter those, but I use them throughout the year, so I feel good about tossing them. And I'll show you the bag at the end. So these are all eye glitters, and this for the last few years have been some of my funnest eye products to use. But some of them are used up pretty well. Like this one I used quite a bit, and now you can't even get any product out. It's called Cloud. And then some of these, and these are the Stila, like, I don't know, they're called like Glitter and Go eyeshadows. I had some too dark colors, but you can tell they're kind of done. Like you can, I'm gonna give you, like, it's really pretty, but you can't really get like a even amount out anymore. So we're gonna call these done. These were quite pricey. Now drugstore offers something very similar, which I like. But back then, this was it. This is what you had to get. And then also, like I said, NYX, these were lid lingeries, very pretty, but used up or dried out. So we're tossing all of those. Let's see here. We'll move on to, oh, here's another one. Loved the Touch and Soul Metalist Glitter Shadows, but these are dried out. This was in Lottie, I think. Yeah. Pretty, but they're gone. This is a company one of my friends had gone into, and you know, no shade, but I need to stop buying from companies where you can be your own boss because I never liked the products. But here I am. I was supporting. These are shadow scents and lip scents, and this could be your favorite stuff, but the chemical smell scares me to death. I mean, this smells like you're putting paint thinner on. Yeah, I couldn't. And what it was a lipstick that lasted all day, but it burnt a little bit too, and so I just couldn't. But these are actually not old at all. I just can't deal with that. So that's all gone. These were a couple of my favorite colors ever, but you can tell liquid lipstick's going bad when it starts to smell like Play-Doh. This one, and this is a little bit metallic too, but this was my Huda Beauty. I used it over the year just to use it up some more. This was in the shade Bombshell. One of my favorites ever. Like I said, I would consider buying these over both of them. And then I know this shade is Embellishment, but I'm going to make sure. This was a liquid lipstick from NYX called, oh no, French Made. So this is French Made and this is Bombshell. And again, I really used to like liquid lipsticks, but with, you know, masking and stuff, I'm always so afraid. So I didn't get as much use out of these, but it's time for them to go. Their final tour. I need to stop worrying about these type of things because again, it's so rare that they send you something that has your shade. I used up the ones that did have a shade in here just to give them a try, which I do like that. But these were definitely like, this was the Good Apple, this was the NARS Natural Radiant, and this is the Your Skin But Better CC Cream from IT Cosmetics. All great products, all recommend, but it's hard to buy your shade online. Here's some things that are just, time to go. I had this forever. This was in like the back of a drawer. This is the Covergirl Vitalist Healthy Elixir. I don't think I was ever that shade. That looks really dark, but this was a great foundation. Creamy Natural. These were fun while I used it. This was from Physicians Formula Spotlight Illuminating Primer. It had a little bit of a glow to it, but it's old. And like I said, barely comes out anymore, so I got my use out of it. These I got my use out of, but they started smelling again like that paint thinner. So you really, it's just a good idea. If you don't have a makeup collection like mine, it might not take you that long. But if you have multiple products, give them a, you know, like check the smell as well as the consistency. Because again, I'm trying to prevent a breakout of some kind, not like, oh, I guess I should stop using that because my face is all broke out. So these were really nice. This was a water foundation. So it went on just like there was nothing on your skin. And the last foundation, I used quite a bit of these as well. There's a good amount gone, but still a lot left. But I know these say 18 months. I've had them longer than that. This says 6 months for this cooling primer. They smelled amazing and they don't anymore. This was from Too Faced. It's the Peach Perfect Prime and Peachy and the foundation. And I had that in nude. Loved these, but time to go. Final tour. And the very last thing, this actually used up. I'm proud of myself. I mean, you can still see I didn't like take out the stopper. Then you can get around on the sides, but I feel pretty good about this. This was Colourpop No Filter Concealer, all the rage a couple years ago, and I had the shade 15 Neutral. So all of that was pretty used and loved in my collection. And then I have this Charlotte Tilbury cream I found in the back of a drawer. I don't want to put that on my face anymore, but I had used a little bit of it. This is like $100 moisturizer. I don't know who pays that, but I didn't. And another big project, this had a tiny pinpoint of product gone. This was my CoverGirl Vitalist Healthy Powder. I really like CoverGirl, and I used that sucker up. So that's gone. A couple more declutters, and then we will just finish up with like mascara. This was one of my favorite things of all time. I used it to death. That was a pink champagne blush and glow from Tarte. I've never found it again, but this was like the perfect blush for me. This is another perfect blush for me, but I can't find it right now. This is the Bare Minerals Call My Blush. It was a sample, so it is super tiny, but I used that up. These I'm going to get rid of because you can't really get pigment off them anymore. This was the Papa Don't Peach Too Faced blush, and I try so hard to like still use it, but it doesn't really, it gives off a little color, but not enough for me. And then this was the number 7 Caramel Bronzer. This one is okay, but I don't wear bronzer all that often. Yeah, it's not giving me anything. Sorry, guys. Okay, so I have, let's see. All of these mascaras, I use a mascara up about every 3 months. I usually pull in a couple. These are ones that I either loved or didn't love, so I'm going to quickly tell you that. This was a IT Cosmetics Lash Blowout. Loved. Gonna get another one of those. This was pretty good, but expensive. Caution Extreme Mascara from Hourglass. This I love. This is one of my favorites. This is a Bare Minerals Lashtopia, and that is my favorite mascara of all time, besides the Urban Decay Perversion. Love that one. This was just okay. This was from Collab. This was a bunch of influencers working with Sally Beauty or Sally Hansen Beauty, making a makeup line. And I like this okay. This one was interesting because of the wand. Let me show you that one. Like it, oh yeah, that's kind of why I was done with it. It's got like a really funky little wand. So I was like, yeah, that's why. That was done because of that. This everybody loves. I'm just okay because I seem to make a mess with it. This is the Maybelline Sky High Lash Sensational. It just gets up here and down here. This was interesting. I would like to try another brand though. This was from a BoxyCharm. It's Luna Magic. It's a primer. It's supposed to make your lashes a little fluffier, and it was pink. And then you can like coat it with a black mascara. And then I used up this Great Lash that a friend had given me when I started my channel and talked about how this was like my first makeup product. But I don't remember the wand being that small before. So those are all the mascaras I went through over this little project. Quite a bit. Like I said, it's helpful to be intentional with your products. And then I always go through brow pencils. I know this isn't actually all the brow pencils that I went through over the course of this project. I throw some away sometimes because they're not that exciting. But I will say that I really still love my e.l.f. $2 pencil. I went through a L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer, an Ulta Beauty Ultra Slim Brow, Benefit Precisely My Brow, and this was a Benefit Goof Proof, and I still prefer this one. It's just a color that really works for me, but I love when there's a spoolie on the product. But this is 5 brow pencils and 1 brow gel, which I just like a clear brow gel to keep them in place because I got grandpa crazy brows. So all of that. So all in all, with a little bit of decluttering just for products that are old and didn't make that dent, and products I really worked on, I used 3 palettes, 19 eyeshadows, 1 primer, 6 mascaras, 6 eyeliners, 1 eye stamp, 5 lip products, 7 foundations, 3 blushes, 1 bronzer, 1 face primer, and 6 brow products I just showed you. So this was a really fun project. It's a kind of a long video. I will wrap it up here. I will probably just do another follow-up. Here is a bunch of products I pulled in to do another final tour. So I've decided none of these will be going back into my collection. I'm going to use them for a while. I'll try to do like a 6-month update and show you the products I'm using up. Just for one, it's like hard to hold on to a year's worth of empties, like holding on to bags of empties. I have one I'm showing you guys next pretty soon here with all of my everything I've used from June SAS to this SAS. So before the end of the month I'm going to show you, and it's just bags on bags. And then this was just something I always wanted to toss all year, but it held all the makeup I used or was going to use up. And like I said, I feel really good about this. You see me bring in a lot of stuff, but this is all a collection of stuff I used quite a bit of, and it wasn't just sitting around collecting dust like the rest of my collection. That pros for this project, I do encourage you to try one if you have a lot of makeup or anything, nail polish, skincare, hair care. Pull out some products and you say, these aren't going back in on the shelf. This is stuff I'm going to use up. You get very intentional. So I saw a lot of progress as I was like using and using. I was like, ooh, I like this. And I was really feeling confident in the looks I was creating because I was using those same products over and over and over, which if you have a small collection, like a little bag of makeup, that's probably how you feel. When I have all the makeup I have, which is kind of like almost all the candles I have, it's hard to remember every scent when I've tried so many. It's kind of hard for me to say like I'm super good at makeup when I like try a different color story every day. So trying those same palettes for a very big part of the year made me feel very confident using them. When I'd open them up, I knew exactly what I was going to start with to finish. So it made me feel just a little bit like the makeup came together a little bit better. But also the con was I didn't get to rotate through my collection. I kept doing that as well. So I'll show you. I keep this here with newer stuff. Newer palettes. This is kind of what makes it into a favorites. It's just a letter thing, but these are palettes I'm right now using, and then I would always incorporate one of those palettes into this spot. So I just pulled them all. And so one of those palettes was always in here too, so I was using those as well as using new makeup. However, I wasn't getting to use new makeup very often. So I never really felt like it was boring, but it was getting a little monotonous. And like I said, at first, when I look at this is overwhelming. This is all stuff I need to start trying. But then when I get to look at something like this, I'm like, oh, okay, that was successful. But at first it can be very overwhelming. So I recommend just starting with a few products. Don't pull in everything. Like that was too much. And so was this, but I'm just pretty used to it at this point with pulling in so many products. But yeah, I'm going to try to work on a few more shades in this palette. And then I actually ended up with 2 of these, and this works for blush. This is the Juvia's Place Blush Rose. So I pulled my older one. Sometimes when you have so much makeup, you buy multiples. This was on sale twice, so I bought it twice. So I'm going to work on this one with blushes and making some eye looks that will work with this palette. So those are the 2 palettes that'll be featured next time. But like I said, I will probably bring you a candle video today too. Thank you guys so much for, like I said, just letting me talk about my experience this week. It's been a really tough week, but I've also seen a lot of beautiful things. And so sometimes you have to see those hard things, but my hearts go out to those families that have lost loved ones, lost businesses, lost their homes right before Christmas. What I did was nothing. I mean, just going to help clean up trees and stuff was absolutely nothing. I was mostly sitting there overwhelmed and trying to make people laugh. And I don't think it was appropriate, but that's kind of what I do in these terrible times. But I still, you know, I want to do more. I just, like I said, today everything was kind of shut down because of the rain. But I'm very proud of this community. Everyone is turning to their neighbor and asking what they can do. So if you're ever given that opportunity, I recommend that you do it, but also take a time to love on your family, keep your same traditions. We have a lot of things to catch up on because this week we would have been doing a lot of building gingerbread houses and things, but we went and helped. Like I said, Aaron is a first responder, so that's his job. We did what we could too, so that we were, you know, feeling like we helped. And so just keeping those people in your thoughts. There's different places you can donate if it's in your heart to for Christmas, just so that those families can have big meals. But, you know, like a bunch of different vendors and things have just shown up. Like I've seen so many churches coming from all over the country and planning to do things for Christmas for these families. So I really couldn't be more proud of everyone that's here helping. And, you know, they just want to know what they can do more. And that's pretty amazing. So thank you guys so much. Like I said, just keep thinking about all of the families affected and keep them in your prayers. And if there's anything else that comes up in your area, I would do the same. And I just... I'm hoping everyone is settling into a good holiday. We've been through a lot this year, but it is always fun to stop and just talk about makeup or Bath & Body Works, isn't it? I don't have to feel bad about that, do I? All right, well, I'll talk to you guys in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in a video later. Bye.